it's your girl Redavyn. I'm coming back with a video. I know it's been a while, but I had a lot of things. I was going through a lot of personal things, not really lupus related. Could have headed that way, you know. Don't know when I'm actually going to put my situation on actual recording. Haven't come to that conclusion yet. I'm not one who likes to put their business out on Jump Street. You know, it's one thing to be transparent, but it's a whole nother thing to put your life out there for people. And you don't know necessarily if you're putting it out there to help others so they can, you know, maybe they could relate, or if you feel like people are just going to be messy. So, you know, give me a little time to deal and let it marinate, and we'll see what happens from there. This video this evening is about lupus and how it's not a guilt trip. It's real. And when people are complaining about how much pain they're in, it's a legit situation. You know, I think because it's one of those tricky diseases that you don't know for sure that you have it, or you're not aware that you're even showing signs. It's one of those situations where, you know, the moment, because it's more than just complaining about having a headache or your feet hurt or your hands hurt and stuff like that. Because even when I first went through my symptoms, of course, I didn't know what it was. So I never went, you know, I mentioned it, but I wasn't necessarily complaining about it too much until it got bad, till it got worse. You already don't want to deem yourself vulnerable out here in the world, much less having people hit you with the face just because they find out that you have it. Sometimes I hear from people, you know, well, such and such had it and they died from it, you know, but they probably weren't taking the best care of themselves. And I'm not saying I take the best care of myself, and I know it's a lot I could do better. But there's also situations where you just wish that you could live your life, quote unquote, normal, you know, like you used to. Never plan this. Nobody, first of all, you can't plan nature. Nature just happens. It's life, right? It not only affects those who have it, it affects those around them. Like I've said in previous videos, my husband had to carry the extra weight that I couldn't carry at the time, especially when it was fresh. My symptoms were fresh. You know, I was flaring up quite a bit. I went through bouts of muscle weakness, and I never, you know, looked at myself as that weak before. You know, that's one of my true weakest moments in my life, one of my most vulnerable. I've never had to be, you know, so-called reliant or like uber dependent on other people to take care of me, especially physically, because I was always able to do it for myself. Getting the diagnosis wasn't scary. I think it's just the idea of it could get worse at any time. And it's so unpredictable when these flare-ups happen. It just puts you in a mindset of like, oh my God, why me? And I try not to question God, you know, or whatever higher being that you believe in. But you do have those moments because you're human, you know, and it's okay. And it's not for people to feel bad for you because, like I said, you know, lupus isn't a guilt trip. But there's days where, or there have been days, because lately I've been doing all right. I can't complain. Lately I've been getting up pain-free and stuff, so that means my meds are working, so that's a great thing. I just got cleared for work. But it put a financial strain on my family. The beginning of the year, I was basically hired, well, about to be hired and offered a position to go work at the plasma center. But then this happened. And I had to turn down the job, you know, so hence that means that's less money coming into my house. You know, my husband doing all that he can. He was working the job with the perfect shift. You know, we were still able to travel, and he made enough to suffice. You know, we definitely weren't destitute. You know, we weren't starving or anything. And yeah, we had to ask a few friends and family members along the way, but it wasn't like people were just straight paying our bills every month. Like we weren't slack like that, you know, but they understood. It took a lot out of my husband mentally because him being the strong head of household, you know, it broke him to know that at some point he would need help when he's used to just helping himself. And I had to tell him and remind him that, you know, we are very blessed to have the support system that we have, and the fact that We have people that don't mind helping us because they not only know that we're good for it, but the fact that when you help yourself, others don't mind helping you. How they say God help those who help themselves, and that's real. That is very real. And no, I'm not uber religious. I am very spiritual, though. I am in tune with self. I am in tune with God, but I don't need to go to church every Sunday or read from the Bible every day just to confirm it. It's what you feel in your heart. You know, don't really care for self-loathing and self-pity, but it can happen. It's possible that it can happen. Some people don't know that even though I'm not a suicidal person, there's days where I felt like, taking a gun and just saying, you know what, it'll probably just be easier if I just was done. If I just did myself in and just didn't have to worry about anything. But not only is suicide a sin, I live for my family, which means I live for my kids. I live for my husband. I know that I have a blessed life still. And no matter what I got going on, I know that there's somebody out there that has it worse. I kind of got to that point where I felt a little worthless, a little useless. Even though, like I said before, I am a confident person and I am pretty sure of myself most days. But when you're going through something like this, it can take a toll on your psyche. You just do not understand, like, why is it going on? Could I did something better? It really takes a toll on you. And I've had a couple of bad days, where I just couldn't take it. And on one of those previous videos, if y'all don't remember, I'll put the link below in the description box. When I was like, it's okay to have a bad day, I had to really come to grips with myself and realize it's really okay to have a bad day. Most people will be surprised to know that I've had feelings like that because I'm a very emotionless person. Like, I don't really put my emotions on my sleeve, and I still don't. And I probably never will. But I do realize that I am human, and it is human to feel. I don't have the inability to feel, but I just don't cry about everything every 5 minutes because people handle things differently. But the last thing you need is for somebody to judge you for being sick. And don't assume somebody's using their handicap as a illness, because I used to be one of those people where my mother used to explain to me, people have internal illnesses just because you can't see it. And I'm like, they'll be all right. Not necessarily judging them, but some people, y'all done seen it. You have people with the handicap placard, ain't even been much handicap. I'm just saying. But as long as I have the ability to put these 2 feet above ground every day, it is a great day. You understand what I'm saying? Even if I'm having a flare up, as long as I can open my eyes, I know I'm blessed. I know I'm happy. I know I got something to live for another day. So trust me, yes, I have had those moments. Yes, I'm glad I didn't blow my brains out. I don't think I would have actually done it, like acted on it, but you do get those feelings from time to time because it's like, oh my gosh, I know who I used to be. And I held on so tightly to the person I was years ago when I stayed in my hometown. And I had to come to grips with, you know what, this is my life now. And the best thing for me to do at this point is just to embrace it. So that's it, folks. I hope, somebody finds this inspiring. I hope that, you stop and take a moment to yourself if you need to. Just get out of the house, take a breather, get back to walking. Just live every moment like it's your last. Live for the moments, because you don't get, yesterday won't ever come back. It's the only way you can go is onward and upward from whatever point you are. Like I said, I got cleared for work. So, the best thing about that is that I'll be able to leave the house once again. And I'm still going to have the issues with me not being able to be in the sun like that. But I'll be able to leave the house again. I'll be able to communicate with other adults. I'll be able to have a form of freedom that I felt like was taken away for the last couple of years. And no, I didn't get diagnosed with lupus until the beginning of this year. But, I came with a new lease on life, had a new plan to start a new job. Found out I was pregnant, slowed me down a little bit because I was having, a few complications here and there. Ended up on bed rest towards the end. Ended up working for my husband's grandfather, which wasn't a bad thing because I was getting paid. Ended up, getting released from that, did Uber, And then the beginning of this year, find out I got lupus. It just seems like, it don't seem like that's a lot, but trust me, when I'm ready to reveal what all I had going on at that time, you'll understand why. I had to deal with bouts of stress. It was just a lot. But you know what? The stress has been relieved now that the situation has been resolved. And, you know, I just thought that I might want to share a little bit of that with y'all. You know, I'm sure I've said some things in this video y'all have already heard. But at the same time, again, I hope that I've inspired somebody. I hope that it resonates with somebody, because I know that I can't be the only one that's going through, you know, situations. Because it's hard out here. You know, we all know damn near everybody's almost a paycheck away from being on the streets, you know. And with that crazy 45 in the office, I'm sorry, I can't refer to him as El Presidente. It ain't gonna happen. Even in Spanish, it sounds bad. I'm just saying. Time for folks to come together. You know, with all that's going on in the world today, I got other things on my mind. You know, more pressing matters. You know, personal things. So I'm glad that y'all gave me a listen. I'm going to try to be more consistent with these videos. Like I always say, comment below if you have a suggestion, any topics you want me to touch on. Again, I don't do religion and I don't do politics, so please don't ask me to do them. You know, I would just rather not. I like to keep my stress down, because stress ain't good for a sister like me. So please comment, like, subscribe, rate, all of the above, and share with others. Y'all remember to be kind to each other, because you never know when it's your last day. All right, y'all. Peace.